Hey guys, welcome to Hometown Heroes WA, and today we're in beautiful Midland. We're going to be sharing the story of WA Farm Shop, so let's go inside. Kate, thanks for being on the show. If you could share how this came to be today and really just take us back as to how you built what you had today.
Well, Derek and I have lived up in the hills for over 30 years, and we just thought that there was a space in the market for a small family-owned, independently run rural supplies outlet. And Derek was a fencing contractor for many years, and so we do understand having lived up in the hills, we understand the problems that some people can face and some of the options that they might like to use to do their fencing or feeding or animal husbandry. Yeah,
so predominantly that's what you cater to, the fencing segment, or do you across the board cater to everything else?
Across the board we do fertilisers, we do baits, we do reticulation, sprinklers. We're a one-stop farming shop really.
Yeah. Well, let's go into your story. So there's an accent there. Let's go into that. So where were you from originally?
Well, I'm originally from Shropshire in the UK. Used to have horses and came over here on a working holiday visa and basically never went back.
Okay. And then straight to Perth, or did you go to Sydney, or did...
No, I travelled all the way around Australia and just ended up in Perth and just went, wow, this is one of the most beautiful places I've ever seen in my life.
Tell us your side of the story.
Well, we had another business which we've been running for 25 years.
Yeah.
And that was, we were working for some big multinationals and the prices started to go down and down. So we thought it was time for a change.
Yeah.
And we've been thinking about this for a long time, so we thought, right, we sold most of the equipment and invested it all in here.
And you're originally from WA?
Yes, yep.
So you grew up, whereabouts?
Mainly up in the hills, yep.
Okay. And so tell us about your upbringing and let's go into that. Like, what was this?
Literally, we were brought up in Perth itself and then moved up to the hills when I was in early teens.
Yeah.
And lived up there, been on 100 acres up there.
Okay.
And then,
And just carried it right through?
Yep, been carrying it right through and here we are.
Awesome. So we've got a couple of products here. What's your main kind of export that you're doing at the moment, or the main kind of product that you're selling at the moment?
Yeah, probably mainly the fencing gear is probably the biggest thing we do.
Yeah.
Yep. No, I used to be an ex-fencing contractor many years ago.
Okay.
Yep. So we do advice and we do free fencing demos regularly.
Yeah.
Show people how to do it and what to do.
And there's a niche market there, so there's a demand for the fencing, or specifically.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. People are always willing to try to give them a go, try to save some money. So it always helps.
What makes your farm shop unique compared to the other rural supplies outlets out there?
I think what makes us special is that we're trying to be just a one-stop shop for all your farming and gardening needs. We are independent and family run, and we just like to go the extra mile for our customers.
I think one of the most important things as it becomes to obviously trends and what's evolving out there in your industry, how do you keep up to date with what's happening out there?
Well, we do monitor media, radio, TV, and obviously papers, newspapers, but we're constantly asking our customers how their farms are evolving and how we can help them.
Yeah.
That's our main feedback.
How do you ensure that your prices remain competitive while providing high quality products?
Well, the very fact that we keep getting asked for price checks from Bunnings means that we think that we're being fairly competitive at the moment.
So the fact that the big boys up there are poking their heads in just to ask, checking in on what's going on.
Yeah, so people are going back to them and saying, well, we can get it from the WA Farm Shop for this price, so they come back.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
Can you tell us a particularly memorable experience that you've had with a customer that you can think of right now?
Well, early on in COVID, there was a lot of rumour mongering that a product called ivermectin, which is found in horse wormers, would actually kill COVID. So we had a lot of people coming into the shop requesting horse wormers, which we found quite amusing because it is definitely only a horse product, not for human consumption.
How do you involve your family from day-to-day operations with the business?
Well, Derek and I are in here full time, and our son Will, who also has other jobs, but he does truck deliveries for us as well.
And how do you manage the family, as in a family-run operation? How do you manage that? How do you take work home? I know with some businesses, family-run businesses. They can't take work home, but
No, we try not to take it home. We end up talking about it enough at home as it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, we try and get everything done in the shop during the day when we can.
Now, Kate, I know, having done some research on you guys, how impactful you guys have been on the community. So what has been an impact for you guys in terms of sponsoring events and being out there active in the community?
Well, we do believe in giving back as much as we can, but we thought that it would be a good exercise in actually getting our name out there to a fairly targeted audience. So we created WA Farm Shop Grand Slam. We actually went to the eventing community and asked if we could sponsor that. And it's been a successful way of getting our name out to all equestrian properties in the hills and the Swan Valley.
So the Grand Slam, what specifically is that?
It's a series which runs over a year, and it combines the top level of eventing. So it's 5 competitions, and it becomes an overall umbrella. So the organising committees get money from us, and then at the end of the year, the place getters get money from us. So it's a kind of a win-win for everybody.
Could you mention some of those organisations that you guys sponsor?
Well, apart from the Eventing WA, we also sponsor the Midland Junction Poultry Society. They came to us and we've helped them with some prizes and also tags for all their cages and things like that. And they've been incredible coming back to us for the last 3 years. So it's been great.
So just tell me about the kind of that aspect of giving back. Like, how is that fulfilling for you guys here?
Well, another thing that we do is we run regular fencing demonstrations. So we call them fencing foundations. It's just an introduction. We actually did quite a few of the early demonstrations at fire-affected properties up in Tilden Park to get them on their way. We find that it really helps just with the basics of how to tie off and things like that. You know, build a box, hang a gate. People who have their own smaller properties sometimes can't afford to get in a fencing contractor. So if we're empowering them to get up and do it themselves, it's actually quite powerful. And those people come back to us because it's quite rewarding seeing them sort of learn to tie things off and do it. So that's been a really good PR exercise for us, really.
And how often do you run those workshops? For
about once a month, apart from obviously in summer when it's just way too hot. So, you know, nobody wants to be fencing in the middle of summer.
No way. And all the information is accessible on your website, correct?
Yes, it is. Yeah. And also on our Facebook page, and we always promote those.
Okay. When it comes to sponsoring, what aspects do you kind of contemplate to, justify you sponsoring for that community?
That's an interesting question. I think that the main thing is obviously it's got to be a market where we think that we're going to get customers back from it. But sponsoring is usually, I always think of it as a long-term prospect. No, not a long-term goals, and it's an awareness thing rather than, I think it's really hard to quantify. Yes, we've put in X amount of dollars and we've got this much out of it, because I think in the end of the day it's a longer term thing, and it's an awareness thing of just getting your name out there. Yeah,
and I've got to suppose align with what you...
With our values, absolutely. Yeah, that's very important.
Your community involvement, being out there and active, and this is part of your branding, your business brand as well. So how does that, being involved with the community, separate you from your competitors?
Well, we don't believe anybody's running fencing demos apart from us, but we don't want to give everybody the ideas either. And the Grand Slam was a concept that we came up with ourselves. So we like to feel that we were actually being proactive and giving back to the community, the eventing community. Yeah.
So pretty much just gave you the edge. That was
we hope so.
Yeah.
We hope so.
Just going to fire these questions off to you. This is just like a short little fire burst, but your first question, number one book that you would recommend for business?
It was Amanda Stevens' book, and it's Turning Customers into Advocates. And she's an amazing lady. I've heard her at public speak, and it was a really interesting book. It's just it's all about building relationships with customers, and it was really a good book to read. So
having them become like advocates and raving fans of your business, is that what?
That's it, yeah.
And who's that author again?
Amanda Stevens.
Amanda Stevens, okay. Question number 2. Best business advice you've been given?
Budget, watch your cash flow, and go the extra mile. Go the extra mile for your customers.
Worst business advice?
Running a small business is easy.
There we go. And then just one more, if you could go back in time to when this first started, what advice would you give yourself to that period of time when you're first starting off?
That's an interesting one. I think just take time to work out what we overstocked without trying to work out what our customers really wanted. We were trying to be everything there all at the same time, all the shelves filled, whereas actually I think now we've sort of narrowed down the lines that are selling for us, and that in itself I think has made us sort of our cash flow a bit easier.
So what do you do when you're away from this place, and how do you wind down?
Well, I still ride horses quite often, so I have a horse at home, and that's my downtime. It's my equine therapy sessions.
That's your you time?
Yeah, absolutely, love it.
What's your name of your horse?
Socks. She has 4 very long white socks, and she's quite a stunning horse. So yeah.
Wow. And it's every day, straight away, every now and then?
Probably about 4 or 5 times a week. Depends on how busy we are here, really. But yeah, it's good.
Nice.
And a wine on the veranda.
And the wine on the veranda. Tell us about why you chose this location specifically, and a little bit more about your experience with Midland.
Well, it was actually quite hard for us to find a property. We looked for a long time, but we thought that the location, the road itself is very busy. It has about 30,000 cars a day, and it is a good catchment for the hills, and also for going up to Chittering, where we do quite a lot of our customers come from Bullsbrook, Chittering as well. So it's a good central point.
Like a headquarters for everything.
Yeah.
And how long have you been here?
Just over 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so, when you made the decision to come here, your overall experience and your overall thoughts on the suburb of Midland?
I think it's really developing as an area, and I think as more shops come in, I think it's only going to get better.
So with the development, the shopping centre, and I think we've just got another high-rise that's going on in the back corner there. I think it's all happening here.
Yes, and out the back here, we've actually got some units that are being built. So I think there's a lot of residential, which will bring more of a community feel, hopefully.
Yeah, and obviously the signage there, obviously the main road. Yeah.
Hopefully people flying past are going to stop and pull in and come and have a look at what we got.
Guys, so if you don't know where they are, this is where they are. As it relates to obviously your business here and the relationship that you have with the NRI, can you just share with us how that eventuated?
Yep. We before we set up the shop, we sort of tried looking at the best way to buying power, and we came up with the NRI group, which is National Rural Independence. There's 152 retail stores nationally. They set up our buying groups with the national suppliers, which gives us a competitive, with the big multinational other companies as well. So it helps out, buying wise. They also a lot of support from behind the scenes to get things up and going. They also do a national conference every year, which comes through and does it for the mainly more for a networking feature, catching up, finding what the other members are doing, and
Obviously, you have a great team here. What's the process that you go through to hire a great team?
When we first started the shop, there's always a bit hard to find out where you're going to get them everybody from, but sort of advertised and. We went through the interview process, and there's quite a few people who's quite interested to start with, and we ended up with the team we got now.
And what qualities specifically do you look for?
We got Roy, who's working for us. He used to manage a Albany rural store for 30 odd years. He's sort of semi-retired, so he just likes a couple of days here a week, which has been really good. Sort of gives us a lot of knowledge for our customers. And then we've got Bonnie and Tegan, which are also over there. The customer service, just mainly looking after the customers.
Yeah, day to day. Let's walk through that. What do you do with your day to day?
It usually starts at 7:15 down here, opening up the shop. Going through the process, opening up the shop, flags, tools. Getting the floor ready, and then usually customers come through the door anywhere between 7:45 and 8 o'clock. So
what do you do to wind down?
well, we always get home and there's always plenty of things to do there. Looking after horses and property up there, so that's sort of, a lot of gardening and bits and pieces.
Yeah, because I know Kate says she has socks.
Yeah.
So that's her escape. So you're just one place to the next, we'll carry on.
Carry on, yeah.
Best business book or magazine or anything?
Probably the magazine is probably Farm Weekly.
Farm Weekly?
Yep.
Awesome.
And we get that, find out what's going on, what everybody else is supplying and doing, and new chemicals and products coming out. There's always in there.
Okay. Best business advice?
Best business advice. Yeah. Look after your customers.
What's your vision for WA Farm Shop? Where do you see yourself in the next, say, 5-10 years?
Yeah, well, 5-10 years. Hopefully growing and new premises, larger, bigger.
That's the vision?
Yeah,
That's
the vision, yep.
Okay.
And sort of, supply more and more people, locally and further afield.
Yep. Still in Midland?
Yeah, probably, most likely. Yep.
Nice.
It's always a good spot.
And just your thoughts on Midland and, what's your overall experience with Midland being the suburb that you are in today?
I think it's a great spot. It's especially where we're based here. We've got the Great Northern Highway, Great Eastern Highway and 2J Road all coming down to us, so it seems to be a good location. So especially for the farmers, and it's also, we get 30,000 cars past here a day, so it seems to be a good spot.
If you were to go back when you were starting off, you could go back in time, what advice would you give to yourself when you were just kicking off?
Yeah, it was definitely a lot more harder than I thought it was going to be.
In what way?
Well, just like things like POS systems, things like that. Okay. Try to find the which way to go and who's got the best one. That took us a long time to find one of them. Okay. Setting up all the accounts and things like that was always a bit of a tricky one. Yeah. Especially coming not from a retail background, because we were in the construction side. Yeah. So it's always a bit harder trying to set up accounts.
What about customers? Did you have first day one, did they all come flooding in, or how did you manage to?
We did. We advertised in the papers and did a big mail out saying we're opening up. So that was really good. The first week was really good. We had lots of people coming in.
Oh, awesome.
And then we also had unfortunately we had the fires as well just after we opened up. So that's sort of when you had a lot of people infected by them. So they were down here, restocking for their fencing stuff.
I know Kate mentioned a lot about how you guys do the fencing demos. Yep. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
We do the free fencing demos, just mainly just to give people just a general understanding of how to build a fence. We've got one this weekend for the Gidgee Men's Shed, which they've got I think about 15 people coming for that. And that's going to their whole idea is they're going to go through and help people affected by the fires to rebuild their fences. So we've got one this weekend for them.
I mean, obviously you're the front and centre of the customers that come through the door. What's your process with customer service and how important is customer service with WA?
For me, I would like to think that when somebody walks in the door that I'm treating them as an individual, try and find out what their needs are, and I'd like to think that was me walking in through the door and that somebody on this side was not, playing on a computer, or that they were interested in me as a person and try to find out what I really needed. More importantly, if we haven't got something that they need, that we can try and find it for them. Making sure their needs are met in the most friendly and cost-effective way for them.
So just go above and beyond.
I think customer service is extremely underrated, and I think it's really important at what makes me walk back into a store again. If somebody has taken note of me, I like to know people's names. I like to know whereabouts they're from and what they need product for, and to see if we can help them with anything else.
Kind of switch it up here. But how do you handle difficult customers? I'm not too sure if it's probably not a regular occurrence, but what would be your experience there?
I would just try and find out what they need and possibly trying to figure out and find if we can get it possible.
Not show them the door and get out of here.
People are only difficult customers if they have a problem that the need hasn't been met. And there's always a reason why people are distressed or can't find, and it might be a product that is no longer available, but it's under a different name. We have so many things where I have to say Dr. Google is fabulous because we can relate product knowledge through the computer for people that have got something that's 30 years old and their grandfather used it. So if we can find an active ingredient or whatever, and that's Tegan does that really well. She can she's calm and she can go, hang on a minute, let's see what we can find out, and the computer does that exceptionally well sometimes for us, and other than that, it's a matter of asking Derek, poor Derek, and Kate, because they have great knowledge, and Roy gets to work with Tegan a lot, and he's a font of information.
He is.
So between the five of us, generally, we can get it happening, and if we can't, apology is great, and
Just being honest
and it's being honest, and often, especially with Tegan's phone calls and things, if we can't get it, what we always say is, we will ring you back no matter what. If the answer is yes or if the answer is no, it doesn't matter. We'll let the person know, so that if they have to look elsewhere, Lord forbid, then at least they know.
I find that a lot of, with that personalised kind of experience, or that personalised customer service, you get a lot of generational customers. So that word of mouth, how powerful that is, passes on from, say, son to mum, and then their grandchildren come through here.
So, neighbours.
And neighbours. So it's vital.
And friends.
And friends. Just while we're basing it, and you guys being here in Midland, your experience in Midland overall.
Oh, Midland's an awesome place. You know, we're so incredibly lucky where the shop is situated, because we have such a huge range of industry around us. We've got the Swan Valley and all the vineyards. We've got the farming community. We've got hobby farmers, and you know, we're sort of close to everything. I mean, on a personal note, it's 20 minutes from my home, you know, and that's easy. But also we've got very good suppliers that we try and keep locally, so that you know, if we're going picking stock up, it means that it's nice and close. And Midland is a thriving community, and we're incredibly lucky to be here and have the range. I don't know if this is relevant, but our customers teach us an enormous amount. We've got these incredible customers that have been working the vineyards for generations, and they come in and they talk to you, and they're happy to talk, and they go, what do you need for next year? You know, what do you need for this? What do you need for that? And they go home and they chat to, you know, their friends and neighbours, and that ripple effect is a wonderful thing, and it's up to us to make sure that we start the ripple right. So Midland's cool. Yeah, it's a good place.
Let's take it away from Midland and back to you personally, Bonnie. Away from this place, what do you do to wind down?
Well, I've got 6 people living in my house, all my kids and their partners, and we scuba dive, we mountain bike ride, we triathlon, we shoot, we do car rally. Well, you know, can't wonder what's going to happen. You got out and do it. So, and horses originally, but not any longer. So, and we do fencing as well. Way too much of it. But yes, activity, out in the bush. So we're lucky. That's it.
I have got 2 horses of my own that I ride after work or before work, just to get my day started or to relax my day after work. So it's chilled out.
That's you?
Yeah.
That's
That's just
your zone.
my zone, and no one comes in or no one comes out. So.
And the name of your 2 horses?
Chook and Nova.
Chook and Nova.
Yes.
Nice.
Guys, and that concludes this episode. Thank you for WA Farm Shop for having us, representing in Midland. If you're looking for more information on them, click the link below. But for now, that is us. We'll see you in the next episode.